Hey Jay, erase that Z, make him the F. Erase the X and make him the Z. Erase the W, make him the X. Erase the T and make him the H. Ready?
Yep.
Gun trolley right, 64 house X in. Give it back to me. Nope, don't look at it.
Oh, you want me?
Give it back to me how we call it.
The whole play?
Yeah.
Gun trolley right, house F in.
Okay, X in.
X in.
That's okay. And then if it's cover one, what do we want you to do? Probably.
Throw a touchdown.
All right, I like that answer.
Meanwhile.
Gun dolphin right.
Gun dolphin right, 72, tundra, float, H angle.
Gun dolphin right, 72. Tundra, float, H angle.
Yeah, so tundra stands for what?
200s.
200s, and what does float stand for?
It's got the corner of the out. Kind of
Flag, we call it a flag, so
Okay.
I mean, we end up saying corner flag, but it's
Flag with the out,
flag,
and
and
then
the
H
angle
angle.
is an angle. You got me on that?
Easy stuff.
Then you use Rita to the right, Linda to the left. It was a flip formation. Good?
Read to the right, Linda to the left.
72, 5-man protection, slide to the will. So if the strength of the formation is right, what formation is that again?
Yeah, gun dolphin right.
Yeah, right. He's there. The will's over there. The line would slide there. We'd say 72 Rita.
72 Rita. Gotcha.
So let's say this before you go to the next one.
Well, those clips didn't make Jayden Daniels look good at all. In fact, it has now made people question whether the Commanders actually did their homework on Jayden Daniels. This is Sports Guy Talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am joined by guest Evan Bernard today to talk about Jayden Daniels getting exposed on a viral Hard Knocks clip. For the people wondering who Evan Bernard is, he is a Commanders fan that is also a quarterback at the Division II level. With that being said, it has now raised the question as to whether or not Jayden Daniels will ever become an elite quarterback at the NFL level. Before I say anything else, though, I want to present you guys with the topic question. So here it is. Will Jayden Daniels become an elite quarterback for the Commanders?
Just watching Jayden Daniels clip, I honestly am not too worried about it. I think it shows a little bit of confidence. I think that just displays a lot about Jayden's character and who he is as a person. To be a quarterback in the NFL, you got to have confidence in yourself. That will show in his ability. And then just talking about his ability in general, he might be one of the most physically gifted throwers I've probably ever seen. He has some things he needs to work on. His footwork gets a little dicey, but he just has so much God-given talent that he makes up for it. And with a good coach like Kliff Kingsbury, who's coached guys like Mahomes, Manziel, Murray, Caleb Williams, he'll tune him up to a point where he'll be a productive quarterback in the league.
When I see Jayden Daniels play out there on the football field, I see a lot of talent being displayed out there. The guy's got a good arm and he's really athletic. As far as whether or not I see Jayden Daniels becoming an elite quarterback at the NFL level, I don't see that happening. It's not because I don't think Jayden Daniels is a bad football player. I just think that he is set up to fail in that organization. You look at how the offensive line, they allowed the most sacks in the NFL last year. They let Sam Howell get killed a whole bunch in the pocket. And then you also look at the fact how Jayden Daniels is a lighter quarterback. He's about 210 pounds. He's definitely on the lighter side of things, so he might be exposed to more hits. If you get hit a lot, it's going to be very hard to develop at the NFL level. I got a PhD in watching smaller quarterbacks play because I got to see Bryce Young play every single snap for the Carolina Panthers last year, and I got to see him get beat up behind a bad offensive line. I'm really worried about Jayden Daniels behind a bad offensive line. And then I see this clip of him talking coverages and plays to Brian Daboll, and I have to be a little concerned about it. I'm not as optimistic as you are regarding the topic of Jayden Daniels because of the fact that Jayden Daniels is thinking, okay, we got to make a big play here. And that's not necessarily the worst thing in the world. I'm just a little concerned about that because he seems a little limited in the knowledge of X's and O's. Yeah, of course you want to throw a touchdown against that coverage, but you know what you also need to do? You need to be able to understand the progressions and being able to find your reads. That way you can protect your own body and that way you can keep making positive gains. And that's the life of an NFL quarterback. Not every play is going to go for a 75-yard touchdown. This is the NFL, not college football. And if Jayden Daniels carries that kind of mentality at the NFL level, his body is just simply not going to last. I'm very worried about Jayden Daniels' lack of weight. He needs to significantly bulk up if he was to protect himself. He's not going to be playing behind a great offensive line in Washington.
You make really good points, and I'm not even going to deny the fact that our offensive line has been worse for wear. I think we have upgraded in the offensive line. We're going to have a little bit more protection. Obviously, it's still not going to be great, but I think if you have a guy like Jayden Daniels back there, he makes some of the best college players in the nation miss consistently. At a guy who's 210, I mean, if you want to make comparisons, Lamar Jackson is on the lighter side, but he can make people miss. He has that X factor, and I think Jayden Daniels really has has that X factor. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, he's going to have this phenomenal rookie year. He's going to be, winning all these awards, blah, blah, this, blah, that. But like, I really do think that he could get away from this carousel of quarterbacks we're going through in Washington. I think he could really be a difference maker.
I find it interesting that you compared Jayden Daniels to Lamar Jackson. That was actually my ceiling for Jayden Daniels heading into the draft. The problem that I have with that comparison, though, is that the Baltimore Ravens offensive line has always been elite compared to other teams at the NFL level. He's not going to be getting that same benefit on the Washington Commanders. And you also got to remember, Kliff Kingsbury is going to be installing in an air raid offense. And although an air raid offense has a lot of benefits, it also has a lot of drawbacks in it. You look at how a lot of offensive linemen have generally struggled in air raid offense, which means Jayden Daniels is going to be susceptible to getting hit a lot. He's also going to be developing under a defensive-minded head coach in Dan Quinn. Not necessarily the best situation for a young quarterback out there. With that being said, though, how many wins do you think this Commanders team could get this upcoming season with Jayden Daniels?
Realistically, I'm thinking 6 or 7 wins with Jayden Daniels, and wins in general don't necessarily dictate Jayden Daniels' performance.
Sometimes wins are not an indicator of a quarterback. You look at what Jayden Daniels is getting to deal with. He gets to deal with solid receivers on his roster. He's got Terry McLaurin. He's got Jahan Dotson. They added Luke McCaffrey in the draft, and they've got Austin Ekeler running the football alongside with Brian Robinson Jr. So the weapons, they're there. The running game is going to be there as far as I'm concerned. They've got 2 good running backs. The receiving core is pretty decent as well, but there's just a lot of question marks as far as how much time is Jayden Daniels going to get in the pocket. And I think the biggest thing for Commanders fans is that they have got to be patient with Jayden Daniels. They got to remember that not everything is going to be an instant success, and that not everybody can have a CJ Stroud type rookie season. So I think if Jayden Daniels can just get out of season 1 healthy and show some strides in his game, that's going to be pretty good for their standards. However, I just don't think the Commanders picked the right quarterback in this situation. If I was the Commanders, I would have kept Sam Howell. I would have built the team around him. I would have taken Marvin Harrison Jr. with the 2nd pick, try to get a young quarterback with a really good wide receiver one. Instead, now they pick a quarterback that might be a little slower on the football IQ than they would like heading into the NFL level, and that's just really concerning because of the fact that in the NFL, you got to be really smart to play at the quarterback position, and seeing Drake Maye being significantly smarter than Jayden Daniels at the game of football, that's got to be pretty alarming in and of itself.
Comparing the 2 guys within Drake Maye and Jayden Daniels, just by watching film, I think Jayden Daniels, he has an idea what he's doing out there. I think he knows how to read defenses, but obviously things are sped up in the NFL level. Offenses are a lot more complicated. You never really know, and talking about Drake Maye, it's like same thing. You never really know. I get what you're saying though. It makes sense just watching the clips.
Right, and you watch how Drake Maye, he just seems significantly smarter than Jayden Daniels heading to the NFL level, which is why I'm saying that Jayden Daniels got himself exposed in that clip, because there were already questions about the football IQ of Jayden Daniels, and now that clip basically confirms that Jayden Daniels is a little behind compared to his peers when understanding the game of football, and football IQ matters a lot at the quarterback position in the NFL. If you're not a smart quarterback at the NFL level, you're going to end up being a Justin Fields type of player where you don't really know what you're doing after your first read, and you're scrambling around just trying to make a play. And that's fine doing that if you have the talent to do so, but at the NFL level, you need to win with your brain. You need to use your brain first and foremost, and you need to have good footwork skills. That's how a guy like Tom Brady lasted a long time. And I'm not saying Jayden Daniels has to play like Tom Brady, but what I am saying about Jayden Daniels is that he's got to be smarter with his brain and not be quite as reliant on his athleticism, because if that's going to be the case, he might end up being a Marcus Mariota kind of player where they're just relying on their athleticism and their football IQ is behind, and then they just never really turn out to be successful high draft picks, which means that Jayden Daniels could potentially end up being a bust. So no, I don't see him becoming a quarterback that will be elite at the NFL level if he doesn't significantly improve his football IQ.
I don't agree, but it is what it is. I think we wait until the season begins, really see where he stands amongst all the rest of the rookie quarterbacks and the rest of the NFL.
For sure, and I want to wrap this up by asking you this question. So how do you think Jayden Daniels will perform, like statistically? What do you see him performing at, and does he win Offensive Rookie of the Year?
It's hard to say, but statistically, I probably put him over 3,500 passing, 2010 touchdown to interception ratio, and I think he's going to have probably about 500 on the ground.
Would you consider that a successful rookie season if that happened?
Yeah, I would say so. Stats only say so much about a player. There's a lot of things that go into it, but I mean, statistically, yeah, I would say that's probably a successful season as a rookie quarterback.
interesting takes. Well, I actually think Jayden Daniels is going to have one of the better rookie seasons, statistically speaking, compared to other rookie quarterbacks at the NFL level, just because of the fact that Jayden Daniels is an older rookie quarterback, and also the transition from college to the NFL is going to not be quite as steep, considering the fact that Jayden Daniels will be playing in a more college-style type of offense. I think Jayden Daniels is going to throw for about 3,400 yards. I think he's going to throw 22 touchdowns. I think he's going to throw something like 11 interceptions. Maybe the number's a bit higher because of the fact that he's playing behind a bad offensive line. I think he's going to add something like 400 yards rushing on the ground. He might run for 4 touchdowns as well. He is an explosive playmaker. I'm just worried that the hits are going to add up to Jayden Daniels a lot, and when you get hit a lot, you're going to lose confidence naturally in the pocket, and you're just going to make more mistakes. Could I see him being a top-tier quarterback if developed correctly? Yes, but do I think it will happen? No, because the Commanders have a bad offensive line. He's working under a defensive-minded head coach, and the offensive coordinator, yeah, he's done some good things at the college level, but he hasn't really been proven to be successful at the NFL level. Anyways, though, appreciate you being on the show, Evan. Your Instagram account is at Evan_Bernard12. Make sure you guys go ahead and follow that. His Twitter is at Evan_Bernard_5. Make sure you go ahead and follow his socials.
Thank you, Big D. Appreciate you having me, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. Again, thanks for being on the show. See ya, bro.
See you, dude.
Yup, bye. That was Evan Bernard that you guys just heard. So obviously, he's a little higher on Jayden Daniels than I am. He thinks he can become a top-tier quarterback in the NFL if he gets developed the right way. Meanwhile, I'm saying that Jayden Daniels will not be able to develop into a top-tier quarterback in the NFL, mainly because of the fact that he is playing behind a bad offensive line and a dysfunctional organization. I just think Jayden Daniels is just going to get hit a lot, which is going to cause injuries, and in turn that will weaken his abilities as a player. So that is why Jayden Daniels will not become an elite quarterback for the Commanders, as their organization is setting him up for failure. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking, like the video, and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I may shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That will be for the @DustinAsTran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at DustinAsTran and at Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter at DustinAsTran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video, comment down below, check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel Sports Guy Talking.